Hi everyone and welcome to the season recap number 1 where we'll discuss past 22-23 NHL season. And we're gonna start off with Metropolitan Division. I will speak about every team like 2-3 minutes and then we'll discuss the whole standings of this division. We won't talk about playoffs because we'll talk about them later. I just wanna talk about standings after regular season. So, Metropolitan Division. The last place, last team, the weakest team of this division this season. This team is Columbus Blue Jackets, and in my opinion, I don't get why they are so low because they lost 59 points and minus 116 in goal difference. I don't get it because in my opinion, Columbus has everything that they need to be at least a playoff team. We won't talk about a cup team because obviously Blue Jackets is not a cup contender, but they have some great players that can do something. I mean, Patrick Laine, Johnny Gaudreau, and Jacob Voracek. I know he's old and he's traded to the Coyotes, but Columbus Blue Jackets had great goalies as well, in my opinion. Korpisalo and Elvis Merzlikins were one of the best duos in the whole NHL, one of the most underrated goalies. And as of right now, as of what we see, 8th place in Metropolitan Division, 59 points, only 59 points. That's so sad because, I love Blue Jackets because I remember the time when they beat Tampa in the first round, and I remember great times of the Blue Jackets. And as of right now, I know that they are rebuilding, but they have great youngsters as well. I mean, Sillinger, Fix Volansky, and as of right now, they did draft Adam Fantilli. And I hope that next season Fantilli will make Blue Jackets better. But, I don't really know what they need to improve to become a better team. Because, in my opinion, Blue Jackets is a great team and they have potential. But as of right now, they hire Mike Babcock as a head coach of this team. And I don't really think that's gonna work. Because, in my opinion, Mike Babcock is the guy who don't understand nowadays hockey. He didn't work for like last 5 or 6 years, I don't know exactly, but I don't really think that he knows all of the trends that are happening in hockey nowadays. So I don't know what Blue Jackets have to improve. I don't know what they're missing because, in my opinion, they have good defense. They have great offense because if we look through their top 6, we'll see great youngsters, great experienced players. I mean, Marchenko and Chinakhov are the guys who can do everything, and they're young. At the other side, we see Laine and Johnny Gaudreau, and those guys are great as well. So I don't know what they're missing, but they're the last. Maybe they really wanted to draft some guy like Fantilli, and they did play like that on purpose. But I don't really think about that. So the 7th place we have Philadelphia Flyers, and I know why this team is so trash because. Can you remember any player from this squad of the Flyers who can be an all-star? Because, if we speak about Van Riemsdyk, I guess his time as a superstar is over. Who else? Who else can you name? Because they gave Claude Giroux to Senators. Who else? Hayes, Konechny maybe, but in my opinion, these guys are not the franchise players. And in my opinion, this is the problem of the Flyers because they don't have a franchise player, but with the Michkov coming to them, I guess they really, solve this problem. But I don't really think that Flyers will be a great team like they used to be. I really think that Flyers will be like 6th, 7th in their division for the next 10 years. I don't really think that Matvei Michkov will do something for them. So I should say that I really like Flyers goalies, because Carter Hart is one of the best goalies in his age. And also they have some European goalies like Kolosov and Fedotov. We know all the stories about them, but I guess those guys can help them in the future. And in my opinion, I would trade Carter Hart for some franchise player like Johnny Gaudreau, maybe some guys like Hertel, Couture, maybe, I don't know, to build a team around them. So Flyers really have to do something more than just, some trades or something like that. They need to think more, in my opinion. And in my opinion, I know why Flyers is so low in the standings, because they have no team as a meaning of this team, where you have one star player, franchise player, and the other guys are like helping him to get the team to the cup. That's not how it works in Flyers. They don't have it. They have great defense, but Ivan Provorov is a king now, if I'm not mistaken. Or he's in Blue Jackets. Yeah, he's in Blue Jackets. So I just want to say that Flyers, in my opinion, are not the team that I will cheer for, and not the team that can do something in the future. So in my opinion, Flyers will go down, 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 and down, because they don't have any franchise player and they don't know how to do it, in my opinion. So as the 6th team, we have Washington Capitals, and this team really disappoints me more and more with their strategy not to go and try to win a cup, but just help Ovi, to achieve a record of Wayne Gretzky. So as of right now, Evgeny Kuznetsov is asking for a trade, and I don't know who will help Ovi to break this record. Maybe Backstrom, but in my opinion, Nicholas Backstrom is so old to do that. So if we speak about this season, 80 points in 82 games, that's lower than a point per game. That's insane, and I know why, because when you try to help only one player, when you don't want to win a cup, when you don't want to go to the playoffs, when you just want one player to make history, but that's not how hockey works. Because hockey is a team sport, it's a team game, and you have to play as a team. And you have to put some goal to go for, some achievements that you wanna achieve, and then you set a goal for one player to break a record. Isn't it dumb? Is it? Because in my opinion, Capitals have no future, because they have no prospects. They given all their picks, they are giving all their prospects just for old experienced players to carry the puck for Ovi. That's all. In my opinion, that's so dumb, and I don't really think that Capitals will go higher next season, because if Evgeny Kuznetsov will be traded, I don't know who can they ask in exchange for Kuzi, because in my opinion, that's dumb. And about this season, Capitals are really, they tried to fight for the last wildcard spot, but that's not how it works. One player can't carry you in the playoffs. But when this player, star player, in my opinion, the only star player in your team, does really nothing to win, but he really wants to break record. Ovechkin is the guy who ruins Capitals as of right now. Without Ovi, Caps will be better. And when he will retire, after some years of struggling without youngsters and playing like with the guys like Trevor Lewis, who is will be 40 years old, they will struggle few seasons. But then, when Ovi retires, they will be at the top once again. I say they have no future. But I mean future with Ovi. They need to separate their ways. And I know that Ovi wants to end his career with Capitals. And that's great. He's legend, obviously. Great 8. Nothing more to say. But I just want to say that when Ovi will go away from Capitals, when he will retire, or maybe he will go to KHL to end his career, Capitals will be better. But about this season, Ovi really ruined it by trying to reach this record. That's all I gotta say. The fifth team is Pittsburgh Penguins, and I was really surprised when I realized that they missed the playoffs. Because, in my opinion, Penguins is the team that a cup contender every time they play every season, because they have Crosby, they have Malkin, they have great squad. But if we speak about both and Penguins and Capitals, they are so old, and maybe that's why they don't get any playoff spot. Because if we look at the teams that are going higher and higher at the standings, we'll see younger teams. Maybe that is the reason. But what about Penguins? I don't really think that, I don't get why they missed the playoffs this season, because their squad is more stronger than the Caps one. And I really think that the Penguins will go to the playoffs next season, but they need to make some moves to make their squad younger, because, when you're getting older, you're starting to react slower, you're starting to, understand games slower. And that's why the old squads are not doing well in this league. That's my opinion. As the fourth place, we have Islanders, and I like Islanders so much. I like Islanders because every time Islanders play, they really do something interesting. That's not like, Panthers playing. It's not like even Capitals playing. You know what Capitals will do. Just pass to Ovi, nothing more. I love Islanders because of their variable players. Islanders have Sorokin, who really carried Islanders to the playoffs. I really think that without Sorokin, Islanders will be somewhere with Arizona at the bottom of the league. But also I should say that Islanders have great offense, like Matthew Barzal, Andres Lee, Brock Nelson, and my favorite player of the squad, Jean-Gabriel Pageau. But, they're getting old, and Barry Trotz left them, and Barry Trotz, as a head coach, led them to 2 in a row conference finals, if I'm not mistaken, and they lost to Tampa in both. That's so sad. But about this season, I love Islanders and I love how they played. Unfortunately, they lose in the first round, but that's not the point. If we speak only about regular season, their goal is achieved. They went to the playoffs. So there's nothing to complain about. Yeah, they went to the playoffs from the fourth. But who cares? They were in the playoffs. So I really think that Islanders really had great regular season, because they have no great squad. Their squad is not so strong, but they really can compete with the stronger squads. So I love Islanders, and I really think that they have future, because I know some youngsters from the system of this team. So about third team, we have New York Rangers, and Rangers, in my opinion, are the most overrated team in the whole NHL, because they have great youngsters, they have great experienced players, they have great offense, great defense, great goaltending. But what more? Shesterkin, Panarin, Fox, Zibanejad, Kreider, Trocheck, Kakko, Lafreniere. I can name almost every player in the Rangers squad, and I bet you are. Because, they are so hyped. It's like Oilers, like McDavid, Draisaitl. Everyone just talks about them because they like, this passion that coming from the fans, from the team. But in my opinion, Rangers so overrated. Every time they come into the playoffs, we hear some opinions, some talks that they are going to win a cup. But every season we see what? We see nothing. How many times do you remember Rangers were even in the conference finals for last like 5 or 10 years? I remember only one, when they lost to the Kings in the Stanley Cup final. But that's not the point. But this season they played really well. I liked how they play. But, too much hype for them. Too much hype. And in the second place, we have a team that, in my opinion, one of the most underrated teams this league is New Jersey Devils. Devils, I told it in the previous episodes of Locker Room Talk that Devils is a picture of a perfect rebuild. They had great era, then they needed to rebuild. They did it the proper way, the right way. They were at the bottom for 3 or 4 years. Great draft picks, great management, great coaching, and then we see New Jersey Devils almost at the top of their division with 112 points. Devils, in my opinion, have great squad, and their squad is so young. They have bright future, in my opinion, and I won't be surprised if I'll see Devils as a cup winner in like 2 or 3 years. I won't be surprised. That's just how you should do a rebuild. And if we talk about this season, they really played well. I liked how they play. This series of like 10 wins in a row or more, I don't remember correctly, I really liked it. So, in my opinion, Devils really made something impossible, because I didn't see any team in my era. I watched NHL like for 10 years, and I didn't see that kind of rebuild, that fast and that great rebuild, that right rebuild. So, and at the top of the standings we see Hurricanes, and Hurricanes, in my opinion, are so lucky, because Hurricanes, I can say that I hate them, I can say that I like them. Hurricanes is a great team, and in my opinion, they will win a cup in like 5 years maybe, because they have everything they need. These playoffs, they just missed Sveshnikov, who were injured. But, Hurricanes won their division because they were really strongest team in their division. No team could compare with them in the way we can compare teams, because they have great goalies, and in my opinion, the feature of their goalies is consistency, because both and Anderson and Ranta, and if something go wrong, Kochetkov, all of them are consistent. So in my opinion, that is really the key. They have great D, and that's not like, Eric Carlson for 10 million, Nurse for 9 million. They have Piches, Skay, they have really great defensemen. So, and they also have great offense. They have so great offense. Young, fast, and the offense that can do everything. And they signed Stastny before this season. I really thought that this is dumb, because, Paul Stastny, he's so old, but Hurricanes, in my opinion, is a picture of a great balance with youngsters and old experienced players, because Stastny really did great job at the bottom six. In my opinion, this is the perfect offense, when you have top six young, all youngsters in the top six, and then at the bottom six you have experienced players who can fight, who can do some dirty job, who can block shots, and so on. So in my opinion, Hurricanes really the strongest team in the Metropolitan division, and they're really deserving to be at the top of it. But we won't speak about playoffs. So if we speak about the whole division, I slightly surprised about Blue Jackets. I slightly surprised about Penguins, because I don't know what they need this season. I don't know what they did need this season to go to the playoffs. But in my opinion, this standings is very fairly rated. So every team is in their place, in my opinion, except of Blue Jackets. I don't get why they are so low. Maybe they really did tank. Maybe. I hope so, because I see some potential in that team. So that's all I wanted to discuss with y'all.